Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the workshop. It is fantastic to have you here because we have started on a sword breaker, and we too have recently had our own bubbles burst to find out these things didn't even break swords.
They didn't break swords, they were for actually breaking the blow of a sword, so the sword would come in and they would catch it in those spiky teeth that they have on the back, and then they'd be able to stab the other person easier.
So, not as cool as snapping the sword, but still hugely awesome because this is one just phenomenal. You know at the beginning of a project when it's going to be a good project. This is going to be a good project, so thank you for joining us as we get cracking. This blade is forged out.
Forged, thermal cycled, it's super soft right now. It's time to go ahead, rip off all of this scale, give it a little bit of a profile, and we'll do a test etch to see where we're at with our patterning.
Before we hop into that, let's thank today's sponsor. Today's sponsor is Vikings War of Clans. Vikings is a strategy game with elements of RPG to it, and we are very grateful to the dev team for sponsoring us. So, Vikings was inspired by some of the old school role-player games of the 90s and early 2000s. You'll train your Vikings, build up your army and your village, fight against other players, and the scale is just insane. There can be over 3 million players in a single event. I absolutely love the game, and what's more, you can choose your own playstyle. You want teamwork and diplomacy, you can go down that route. You want to dominate and destroy cities and build cool fortresses, you can do all of that too. That's the best thing about Vikings. The game really is incredible, so be sure to check it out. You can pick up Vikings when you feel like it, play 5 minutes or 5 hours, and of course, if you hit my link in the description, Vikings is going to be giving you some special deals. It's free to get, but you're going to get a special bonus of 200 gold coins and a protective shield, which is going to be extremely useful from the start when you hit that link. So be sure to go download it, free iOS and Android. Thank you, Vikings, for sponsoring the video. Let's jump on in. We're making good progress on the sword breaker. Oh no! Oh wait, it doesn't have teeth. This is still actually quite scary, because that would hurt. Silliness aside, we're making progress. Will, do you want to run us through what it is that you've done so far?
Sure thing. We've gone ahead and shaped ourselves a nice little taper running down that blade. It's all nice and flat right now, ready to carve in some shoulders on the tang. We're not gonna bring the tang down to final dimension for a little while. We're almost there though. This needs to come down quite a ways because we're gonna thread that. And yeah, pretty much from here on out, it's gonna be a lot of very meticulous file work and mill work and
absolutely
making dentistry work because we're shaping teeth, right?
We are shaping teeth. So once that tang is ready, we're gonna be switching on over. And I'm gonna put it in the mill for the roughing out of all these teeth here. How perfect am I gonna get it? Not very. I'm basically going to put the piece of paper on, scribe through it. We're gonna rough it in so that we can finish it with files. Now, while Will has been doing some of that grinding, I've just been working on the loop that's gonna be on this sword breaker. You see right here, there's a little bit of a loop. Now, the way that you would hold one of these things, much like a parrying dagger, in your left hand, this loop, I believe, then serves to protect your hand, protect your thumb, you know, maybe you're holding it like this. I don't know, it's a protection element. It means that if a sword slides down the blade, it's not just gonna be cutting your hand right open, right where your wrist is, and all those fun things are. So, been making some progress thinking about that, and very shortly, it's on to roughing in the teeth. we have a bunch of holes popped in here. Now, obviously, we want to make sure that we're not causing extraordinary stress concentrations with this design, which is why I've made sure that we terminate it with a hole. Because a hole, that little circle, you know, is it going to concentrate stress? Yes. But it's not going to concentrate stress quite as much as an abrupt, sharp ending. And, you know, sharp, abrupt endings cause planes to fall out of the sky. They probably also would cause sword breakers to snap in heat treat. Or in the process of breaking somebody's attack. So, that's why we have the little small holes in the design, and I think that's an important feature to note. The next step is going to be coming into the mill and finding a way that I can fixture this quickly, easily, repeatedly. That's going to be a little bit tough. My idea is that we take ourselves a block of steel, clamp that in the milling vise, and then clamp this to the block of steel. Probably going to be the way that I go about it. Now, something that you're going to note is I'm not going to use the DRO. I'm not going to use any of that. This is all going to be done with the ichrometer. I'm going to be working to the inside of all of these lines. This will not make it perfect, but these teeth are not consistent the whole way down. Now, what I did when I designed this is I put these teeth into Photoshop and I squished down one side only so that these would taper in size and change their shape and size as it went down the blade. This is a tapering blade profile, which is good for the eye, not so good for being able to reliably execute near identical teeth, because we know we don't want identical teeth anyway. Anyway, enough of that rambling. This is gonna go in the mill. We're gonna be plunging down into the holes and then basically just opening up some pockets so that some file work, and hopefully not too much file work, is all it takes to finish it out. One down, 9 to go. But I think I want to make a modification as to the way that I'm doing this. You see, I am right up at the line, but that paper, it just frays. I was hoping that as I had super glued this down, the paper wasn't going to fray too much. You know, maybe it was going to be nicely bonded. I then also put some, like a lacquer that's used to seal canvases after they've been painted. I put some of that on too, just in case. That would help keep the paper intact. It frays, which is a problem. It doesn't bode well for accuracy. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run upstairs to the microscope and I'm gonna take my graver with a small little center punch needle point tool in there, and I'm going to run around all of the lines, basically making a join the dot around this entire design so I can rip off the paper, rip off the masking tape that's underneath, and then go to the dots as opposed to going to the paper. So we have milled out a huge amount of material for our teeth. Milling machine saved a huge amount of work on this, and means that it's now roughed in, and it is file work, hand work, as well as some grinding. That's what's needed to bring this into shape.
This is one of the instances wherein having a swivel jaw vise is just the tool for the job.
Go ahead. That's cool. You just clamp to the taper.
Clamp on the tapered tang, and you've got yourself a nice Fineland surface right there.
Yep, with nice amounts of vibration for extra efficiency, right?
That would also work. All right, to the bandsaw.
How's it going? Run us through. How has this been going?
All right, so it's been excessively challenging trying to get all of these 9 points nice and even. Next step is gonna be thinning out all of these little tree trunks, trying to get them to look exactly the same all the way across the board while tapering and scaling down throughout the whole thing. So that's going to be super easy and fun.
What a breeze. Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
1 minute probably.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like
Filing is such a fast and efficient method of getting somewhere, so that's great. While it is that you're doing, I mean, what's probably the funnest job on earth, I'm going to do something that's really boring and sad. You know, I'm going to take the hit on this one. I'm going to light the forge.
Oh, poor thing.
I went and bought some steel. So we have some 1018, which is very low carbon. Most of the mild steel that we buy is A36, which is kind of tougher and it's inconsistent and it's kind of cheaper. I bought some 1018 at the steel supplier this morning. And I'm gonna forge that into our guard. So it's gonna be really boring because nobody actually likes forging. And I just wish I could be doing this filing. So I'm gonna take the drawing of this guard.
If you want to trade off.
Look, Will, I'll take the hit on the forging. It's okay. I can forge something.
I see how it is, okay.
Yes. No, I just had a cramp in my side. I just had a cramp in my side.
Okay.
Significantly softer than A36. Really, really surprising how much easier this moves than normal generic mild steel sold in the US today. We have this thing rough forged out. It is looking great. We're gonna go ahead and let this cool down nice and slow. Even though it's 1018, the softer it is, the better. So a little bit of annealing is gonna be very, very handy. While I've been working on this, Will, of course, has been cracking away with another gabillion years of firework. So my piece, cooling on down. It is, it's gonna be a whole lot of work making that into a guard. We're gonna be doing some crazy stuff to it. The design that we've already done makes us already know that that guard is gonna have tens upon tens of hours of work to do to it.
It's pronounced tons?
Oh, not tens?
No.
Yeah, it's got tons of hours to do. Many an hour needs to be put into that guard. How about this, Will? How is this looking?
This thing is looking spectacular, having a blast.
You are?
With the filing stuff. Well, not actually, but I'll put on a brave face. We're getting all of these little tree trunks kind of thinned out and the shoulders set to the correct depth, and we'll go back in and shape all of the other stuff. But
we have so much work to do. But this is exciting because this is a complex project and we are excited to make this thing look like a great mesh between, you know, the 16th century piece that we are modeling off of and something a little more modern and contemporary in some of its artistic stylings. So we're very excited about that. We are thrilled to be bringing you along with that. I would like to mention that you should go check out these stiletto dagger shirts. Be sure to also go and download our sponsor's game, Vikings War of Clans. Links in the description. You get all sorts of fun bonuses when you hit that link. It's been a pleasure as always. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.